your functional circuits class. Low impact today, so that means there's no jumping around. So if you have to be cautious of downstairs neighbors, this is a great one. For equipment, we're going to need a single heavy and a single medium weight. For the heavy, I'm using 20 pounds. I'm using a dumbbell, but you could use a kettlebell as well. Either would work. For the medium, I'm using 8 pounds today, but go up or down from there. Those should just be kind of a guide. I want you to match the weight to your fitness level. In the title of this workout, you see the numbers 3 times 3. That means there are 3 exercises per circuit today and 3 circuits total. So for each of those circuits, you're going to do the exercises for 30 seconds apiece back to back. You then rest for 30 seconds before repeating. So in other words, that is 90 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. In between the circuits, I'm going to give you about a minute, a little more to recover. During that recovery time, I will show you the upcoming exercises. In circuit 1, we are going to complete 3 sets total. In circuits 2 and 3, we have some unilateral work. So we're going to complete 4 sets alternating right, left, right, left. We start this class with a thorough guided warm-up, and then we will finish with a quick guided cool down. And let's get right into that warm-up. So I want you to find a comfortable standing position with your feet about shoulders distance apart. We're going to start by linking breath to movement and kind of mobilizing through the rib cage. So I want you to reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Left arm can hang by your side. On an inhale, I want you to side bend over to the left. As you inhale, think of expanding through this right side body. On an exhale, you're just going to bring yourself upright, using the obliques to drag yourself up to the top. Again, inhale, side bend. Exhale through the mouth. 2 more this side. Inhale, expand through that rib cage in the side body. Exhale, drag yourself to the top using those obliques. One last time this side. Inhale. Exhale. Right arm down, left arm up, same deal. Inhale over to the right. Exhale. Inhale, expand into the rib cage. Exhale out through the mouth. Twice more. Inhale. Make sure your knees are unlocked, okay? Last time. And now I want you to spread your arms out to the sides in a T shape. We're going to go into a twist starting to the right. Twist for 1, for 2, for 3. Come back to center, other side. Twist for 2, for 3, back to center. Keep that going. Now, as you do this little rotation, I don't want your hips to rotate open. So it's coming from the spine. 1 more each side. Exhale. 3, back to center. Back through center. And now we're just going to come into some spinal articulation. I want you to start to nod your chin and roll forward vertebrae by vertebrae, coming into a forward fold. And then on an inhale, I want you to stack the spine back up to neutral. Again, on an exhale, nod your chin, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll it down. Inhale, roll it back up, stacking up back to neutral. Last full time. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale back to the top, and this time we're going to hold it at the bottom. So exhale, nod the chin, roll down. I'm just going to turn to the side. And from this forward fold position, I want you to come to a long neutral spine or flat back. Hands can come to your shins. Reach your tailbone back, hands to heart center, and we're just going to come into a hip hinge. So the torso comes upright, and then we lower down. Now we're going to do the next chunk of this warm-up in a hinged position because we have a lot of front-loaded weight stuff in this workout, and I want us to really connect to and wake up this mid-back area before we get to it. So next time you hinge forward, hold, and I just want a little bend of the knees and press. Little bend, it's like a semi-squat and press. Don't lock out the knees all the way when you press though. 2 more. You're going to hold the bend. Next time, bend and hold. Reach your arms forward so they're at the front of your mat, kind of reaching forward at a diagonal. We're going to come into protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades. So we're sliding the shoulder blades in towards each other as if they could hug your spine. And then you slide them wide as you reach those arms forward. Now, as you reach forward, I don't want your hands to come together. So I want you to picture you're kind of holding a paper towel roll. They stay that distance apart. Now, between these two extremes, the protraction and the retraction, I want you to kind of come to neutral. And then from here, you're just going to lift the arms up overhead and lower them back down. Now, yes, I want you to lift them high, but not so high that you lose the connection to the front of your rib cage. So I don't want you to flare open through the ribs as your arms reach up. So that might just mean you're coming up to forehead height. A couple more like this. And now I want you to hold those arms at the top, rotate so palms face the floor, and you're going to sweep them back and up, kind of like you're tracing a snow angel, but in the wrong direction. Long spine, reach the tailbone back. So we're really warming up through the shoulder joint here. Couple more. Last time, bring your hands to heart center. And in your low squat position, I want you to pick your torso up just a little bit, maybe sink a little deeper into that squat. We're gonna pulse here, and then you're gonna step open through one foot, hinging open into a sumo squat, pulse there, back to center, pulse, other side, pivots open. I'm just gonna turn to face forward, keep that going. Sumo one side, center. Okay, so we're coming into some dynamic movement here. It's more joint mobility, but we also want to warm the body up, maybe build up a little heat. We're not jumping around in this workout, so cardio is not a huge focus of the warm-up, but still, we want to get the juices flowing. I hate that term, it's gross. Pretend I said something else. Next move, it's going to be a shallow squat to a side bend reach. Last one here. Come through center, and now next time you come up, side bend reach. Down, other side. So you want to find a wider squat than what we were just doing. Really reach and pull. Once you have it, maybe you add in a little speed. Squat doesn't have to be deep, okay? Little bend, reach. Third and final movement, we're going to turn to the right, and we're going to do a little knee drive, reaching our arms up, pulling the elbows in. So you're going to pivot to the right in 4, 3, 2, pivot to the right, arms overhead, pull that back left knee in, reach and pull. If this is too much, just slow it down. Otherwise, let's build a little warmth. So we're going to go through those 3 movements one more time. We'll do this facing the other direction. We'll start with that squat pulse to that sumo pulse hinge. Narrow squat in 3, 2, 1. I'll just come to face forward again. Squat narrow, open up. So we're building some heat through the lower body. We're also getting that nice external rotation through our hips. Let's just do one more each side. And then we're going to go back to that shallow squat, side bend reach. Last time here. Come to your shallow squat if you can get a little wider. Reach, reach. Last move coming up, it's going to be that reach and pull lunge. You'll turn to the left this side. Left foot forward. 4, 3, 2, turn to your left. Arms overhead, pull, knee drives in, reach and pull, pull. Now we just have a tiny bit more mobility to go, and then we'll get right to our workout. You're gonna meet me in a plank in 4, hands to the floor, in 3, 2, 1. Hands down to the floor, step back to your plank, and then send your hips up into a downward facing dog. I wanna do just one more thing for the hip joint. I want you to take that right leg, and I want you to reach it up towards the ceiling, open up through the hips, bend that knee, and just trace a couple big hip circles. Drawing a nice big circle with that right knee. One more this direction, and then just switch directions, same side. Last time. And now I want you to start to shift forward into a 3-legged plank and bring that right foot to the outside of the right hand. And your left knee is going to tap the floor and lift up. Tap and lift. Few more. Last time, lift that left knee. Step back to plank, hips up, downward facing dog. Let's just do that on the left side, and then we'll get to our workout. Left leg lifts up, open up through the hip, bend the knee. Let's trace some nice big hip circles. 3, whatever direction you started in. And then switch direction. Ground down through those hands. Last time. Start to shift the weight forward into a 3-legged plank. Left foot steps outside the left hand. We tap the back knee, lift it up. Tap and lift. Last time, lift the knee. Now this time, take that back right foot, step it forward to the outside of that right hand. You're in a low squat. Maybe you press the elbows to the inside of those thighs, little shift side to side. Last 4, 3, 2, stand it up, whew, and let's get to our functional circuits. In our first circuit, we are going to use our heavy weight, but if you need to modify at any point, just drop down and use your medium weight. First exercise is going to be a good morning hinge to a squat combo. So we kind of did this movement in the warm up. You're going to hold the weight at your chest. Again, if it's too much, drop down to your medium. Second exercise, we're going to hold the bottom of our squat and you're just going to pulse up a couple inches, down a couple inches. To modify that one, you can use the lighter weight, or as needed, you would just come up to the top and then sink right back down into your pulses. Third exercise, we're going to go right from that into a squat clean. To modify that, again, use the lighter weight, or you can just give me a goblet squat. So instead of cleaning, you would just go down, power up to the top, holding that heavy weight at your chest, just like that. Okay, 3 times through. We'll start at the top with that hinge. I'm gonna hold, if you're using a weight, I would hold the center and then just hold it against your chest like this. It's gonna make for an easier transition. So feet can be about shoulders distance apart. You hinge forward, hips slide back. Bend the knees, hips lower. Drive those feet into the floor as you stand. Hinge, low squat, drive it to the top. Now, don't let the front load of the weight cause your shoulders to hunch, so you're broad across those collarbones. All right, now we're gonna hold that low squat and you're just gonna pulse it out. Down a couple inches, up a couple inches. Now we still wanna think about that neutral spine. So you're reaching your tailbone long. You're not so low in this squat that your tailbone tucks under, okay? I'm just gonna start to turn towards the camera. Up next, we'll go into that squat clean. All right, let's go. Weight taps, clean it, lower down, drive it up. And 30 seconds to rest. So something to think about with these exercises, a squat is a hip hinge just like a deadlift is. So that first movement, that good morning hinge, a squat is also a hinge of the hips. It's just with a bend of the knees as well. So you start that movement, hips go back, knees just bend. I want you to think about that, especially when we're doing the squat cleans. Hips back, hips forward. Whew, okay, we'll start at the top. Let's go. Hinge it, bend, drive to the top. Now let's check in on those knees. Look down at them for a second. Where are they pointing? They should be tracking in line with your middle toes. Don't let them buckle inside of your big toe. All right, hold the bottom. It's that little squat pulse. I'm just gonna switch my grip. So with the weight at the front of our chest like this, always, but especially when the weight's at the front, our abdominals need to work, or this is all just gonna go into our low back. And don't get me wrong, the backside of your body is working to support this, but we shouldn't be feeling pain in our low back. So gentle brace to the abdominal wall. There's a heaviness in the front of the ribs. Let's go into that clean. Now the weight is coming to the floor because we're getting low through the legs, not because we're leaning forward, okay? So you're always thinking chest open and lifted. Keep that weight close to your chest. Comes right up the center. Rest, okay? Gonna go through that just one more time. Hinge to squat. Feet about shoulders distance apart. Open through the chest. Long neutral spine. Bend those knees. Drive to the top. So the shape of our spine doesn't change. It just changes angles, okay? So we come to here, it's kind of parallel to the floor. Bend the knees. Now it's a little more upright. Let's hold that low squat, little pulses. Down a couple inches, up a couple inches. In this squat position, you're really grounding down through the foot. That includes your toes, okay? Now, yeah, we do want to keep most of the weight in the heels. That's why you hear that cue a lot. You should be able to wiggle your toes at the bottom of the squat. Yes, but really no, okay? There's a connection between your glutes and that big toe, so ground down through it, but without collapsing into your arches. Clean. Final 30 seconds. And done. All right, you can put the heavy weight aside. We will not need it for the rest of the class. Quick little teachable moment before we move on though. I want you to take inventory of your back after that circuit. What area of your back feels like it just had to do a lot of work in that circuit? We want the answer to be our mid back. So like the middle of your back all the way up to between your shoulder blades. If the answer for you though is low back, that's a sign that you need to drop down in weight and that we need to work on the form a little more so that you can really connect to your mid back on that. Okay, sorry, this is gonna be longer than a minute, but it's important stuff, okay? So just take note, where are you feeling that last circuit? Okay, first exercise is gonna be a front lunge with a torso twist. You come back to center, you push off that front leg to come to the top. To modify, keep your hands at heart center, don't extend them out. So you'd step forward, twist, weight stays in close, come back through center and stand. Second exercise, you hold at the bottom of that split lunge, and as you come up, you press the weight forward at chest height. To modify, keep the weight in, don't press it out, and you would just split lunge down and up like so. Final exercise, you're gonna take the weight into one hand, still in your split lunge to start. Shoulder press at the bottom, shoulder press at the top with a knee drive. To modify, just do the shoulder press at the bottom, and then just stand, no knee drive. So look just like that. Okay, 4 sets. We're gonna alternate right, left, right, left. All right, weight at your chest to start. You will step forward with your right leg. Right leg's gonna be the front leg this whole time through the circuit. As you step forward, press that weight forward, torso twist, come back through center, bring the weight in, stand up. Now the torso twist comes through your midsection, okay? It's the spine that's twisting. The arms move. As a result of that, they do not move on their own. So I don't just want you whipping the weight around. So if you're doing it correctly, it's not huge, okay? Unless you have like a ton of spinal rotation within your range of motion. All right, now hold it low. Bring the weight in at the bottom, press it out at the top. I'm just switching the press so that our form doesn't start to get sloppy. I don't want you rounding through the shoulders. So it's out at the top, in at the bottom. If you're feeling tightness in your back left hip flexor, you might just need to lean forward a little more or just step your back foot in a little bit, okay? but don't step the back foot in so much that you feel pressure in that knee. All right, weight comes into your right hand in your split lunge. Shoulder press at the bottom, shoulder press at the top as you do that knee drive. Squeeze your right butt cheek at the top. It's going to help with balance. Squeeze. And rest. 30 seconds, we'll do the same thing. Left leg will be the focus. So unlike the first circuit, which was a lot for the back of the leg, hamstrings, glutes, you're going to feel a little bit more top of the thighs, the quads, because we're maintaining a little more of an upright position. Left foot steps forward, torso twist, back through center, step it back. When we're upright through the torso in a lunge, it's more quad dominant. And then when we lean forward a lot, it's more hamstrings, glutes. And you'll probably feel the back thigh talking to you a little bit as well, because it is bearing a good amount of our weight. Okay, hold that split lunge. Press forward at the top, bring it in at the bottom. So the position of the feet doesn't change. We're bending, pressing. Now as you do this, I want you to check in on your hips. Don't let that right hip sink lower than the left. So pause at the bottom for me. Shift your right hip up a little bit, left hip down a little bit, and then try to maintain that level position as you pulse up and down. You might feel like you don't get as big of a range of motion. That's okay. Weight in your left hand. Shoulder press at the bottom, stand knee drive at the top. So your core has to work here. Woo, my balance is not as good on this side. Feeling a little wobbly. And rest. Okay, we're at the halfway point. Gonna do that twice more, once on each leg. Now that level hip thing I was talking about in the previous circuit, that applies to all 3 exercises we do. So just notice, when you step forward into a lunge, are you also dropping down through that back hip? Try to level them out. Front lunge, torso twist. Right foot will step forward. Right foot forward, extend it. Little controlled twist. So you might find that when you really hold your hips square, that twist gets very small. That's okay. Bigger is not better, okay? Well, sometimes it is, but not in this workout, okay? That wasn't meant to be a perverted joke, by the way. I just realized how it sounded. All right, hold your split lunge. Weight in at the bottom, out at the top. Now we have a slight lean forward with our torso, just because I don't want you to dump all the pressure into your low back. But if you're really open through the hip flexors, you might be able to go straight up and down. But if you're feeling low back, that's a sign you need a little bit of a hinge forward. Weight goes in your right hand. Shoulder press at the bottom, shoulder press at the top. If balance is off, you don't have to do the knee drive, or you could eliminate the shoulder press at the top. And rest. All right, one more time through. Front lunge with the torso twist. Left foot will step out. You'll press that weight forward at chest height. Broad across the collarbones. Let's go. Left foot forward. Twist without dumping into that hip. I just had to correct myself. I did it. Level hips. When you step forward, make sure that your left knee is not going out in front of the toes, okay? It's more or less stacked right over that heel. All right, press at the top now, in at the bottom. I challenge you to find a steady pace on these, maybe on the quicker side, never at the sacrifice of proper form though. If arms are starting to go, just do the pulse. If legs are starting to go, maybe you stand and just do the chest press. Weight in your left hand. Press at the bottom, press at the top. Oh, and done. Okay, you have about a minute to catch your breath. I'm going to show you our next 3 moves. Final circuit, also using our medium weight. First exercise, we're going to be kneeling in a hinged forward position. Again, working to get that mid back. It's going to be a row and then a lift up overhead. Now, if it bothers your knees, you can put padding under them, or another great modification, do it standing, okay? So you'd be in a standing bent position, row, lift, just like that. If it gets to be too much, use a lighter weight. Second exercise, you're going to come to a plank position. It's a row and then a cross body crunch, opposite knee in towards that elbow. To modify, ditch the cross body crunch, come to tabletop and just work on that row. Third and final exercise, you're in a side plank for a reach. You pull that top elbow into your hip and then almost like you're making a rainbow shape with your side body, you lift it up. To modify, you're going to have your bottom knee down like a kickstand, just like that. Okay, 4 times through, we're going to alternate right, left. Let's do it. All right, so knees are going to be about hips distance apart and then break at the hips, hinge forward. You still have that neutral spine. Weight is in front of you. Arms are at a slight diagonal. Going to be a row and then that overhead lift. Pull it in, lift it up. Now, when you do the row, I want you to think back to that retraction, protraction of the shoulder blades we did in the warm-up, okay? I want you to think of initiating the row with that retraction of the shoulder blades. Retraction, elbows come in. So the movement starts with the shoulder blades moving in, not the elbows. I mean, it's really the muscles controlling your shoulder blades, but I want you to think back instead of elbows. Now, weight is going to come into your left hand. You're in a plank. Left hand has your weight. Row on the left, and then take your right knee across to that left elbow, okay? Row left, right knee, left elbow. In this plank position, your legs can be a little wider than a normal plank. Squeeze the quads and glutes, because when you do the row, I don't want you to dump open through the hips, okay? So they're staying as level to the floor as possible. Side plank will be up next. Oh, here we go. Right forearm comes down. Open up into your side plank, top elbow towards that hip. Reach up, make an arc shape. I have my top foot staggered in front of the bottom. Pull it in, reach. So your bottom right shoulder is doing a lot of work here. Don't sink into it. You need to push the floor away, long neck. Hips lightly tap the floor, lift them up. And rest. Maybe you take a quick side body stretch. All right, first time through, complete. 3 more times to go. We're going to alternate. So again, with this first one, if it's bothering your knees, kneeling down, you can do it standing. I'm doing it kneeling because it makes for a quicker transition, but do what works for you. All right, let's go. Hinge forward, row, and lift. Now, we did that arm motion of the lift in the warm-up as well. Again, you're not lifting so high that you flare out through your rib cage. So I'm exhaling as I lift my arms because it helps me maintain that connection to my abdominal wall. Now coming up, weight in your right hand, okay, for that plank. Weight in your right hand, you row on the right, and then left knee to right elbow. Check in with that left elbow and make sure it's not locked out. We'll lower onto that left elbow. Up next, you'll mirror me, opening up into your side plank. Oop, let's go. Whew, I have my right foot staggered in front of the left. Oop, my bun is hitting my couch. Try to keep your hips stacked as you do this. So that top right hip, rest right directly over the bottom one. You're not rolling open, which we tend to do sometimes. All right, halfway there, twice more, once each side. All right, break at the hips, hinge forward. Weight forward at a slight diagonal. Broad across those collarbones. You row, overhead raise. Now, if you're sinking into your low back with the overhead raise, then I just want you to stick to the row, okay? Right here. Start by nailing this, and then only if it feels safe, you're doing the overhead raise. You can always use a lighter weight or even body weight. It's important to master the movement with body weight before even adding weight. So maybe just take a step back. Weight is going to be in your left hand coming up. All right, left hand has the weight, come to your plank. Row left, right knee, left elbow. When you do that cross-body crunch, I want it to come as close as possible to actually touching the arm. That'll mean something different for everyone. Modification for this one, you're in tabletop, row. Side plank position, right forearm comes down, feet are staggered. Arc up and down. Now without actually moving that bottom right elbow, you're thinking of pulling it in towards your hips so that you're really active through your lats, that area of your back under your armpits. Lots of talk about the back today. And rest. Okay, one more time through, and then we have that guided cool down. Oh my God, I'm sweaty. Looks like I peed my pants. I swear that's sweat. Find that hip hinge position, kneeling or standing if it works better for your body. Let's go. Row, lift. Now we're thinking a lot about the back. A lot of the movement is coming from the arms, but your glutes are helping support this position as well. Okay, weight goes in your right hand, left hand on the mat. Row right, left knee to right elbow. Your legs are supporting you on this, okay? Picture you could lift your quads off your kneecaps, reach those heels back. All right, left forearm down, open up into your side plank. Final 30 seconds, let's do it. So as you lower, your hips can lightly tap the floor, but I don't want you to rest them down, okay? So close. Oh, and done. If you've been taking that counter side body stretch, let's just do it one more time this side. Keep everything even. And now I'm just gonna guide you through a quick cool down. Take a moment to catch your breath. Whew, move your weights out of the way. And let's come into a kneeling lunge position to start. So I want you to bring your left foot forward. In this split lunge position, square your hips, gentle squeeze of the glutes, and then press the pelvis forward. If needed, you can hop that foot forward a little bit so you feel a nice opening through that back right hip flexor. Now I want you to take your right arm, reach it up. We're gonna do a side bend, and then we're gonna rotate on an exhale, chest towards the floor. Oh, that feels good. Stay in the side bend, just open up, and twist back towards the floor. So we're just doing the rotation. Stay in the side bend. One more. Come into your side bend, come back up. And now I want you to tuck your back toes under and bring your hands down to the mat. And we're gonna step back into a downward facing dog. From here, I want you to take your right leg and I want you to lift it up towards the ceiling as I choke on my necklace. Keeping the leg straight, I want you to open up through the hips. Then I want you to bend that right knee, heel in towards your bum. Straighten the leg back out, and then close the hips down. Do that twice more. So we open up the hips, we bend through the knee, we kick that leg straight, square off through the hips. Last time. Open up, bend that knee, straighten the leg, close the hips. We're gonna come forward into our pigeon. So as you shift forward into this three-legged plank, I want you to bring the right knee behind the right wrist, kick that right heel towards your left wrist, and lower the shape down to the mat. If pigeon is a little too intense for your hips, you can also come to lay on your back and do a figure four stretch instead. If you're cool in the pigeon, you can bring your head to rest on your hands. And it might feel good to prop that right hip up on a pillow. Make any adjustments that your body needs. And we're just going to stay here for a few breaths. I'm going to guide you through this cool down pretty quickly, but if you want to stay on anything, please do. You do not have to go at the same pace as me. When you're ready, we're going to press ourselves back up to straight arms. Tuck your left toes under. We're going to come into a plank. And we're going to do that same thing through the top. So now I want you to take your right foot and step it forward. And we're going to come into that kneeling lunge position. Again, right foot forward, left knee back. Square the hips, gentle squeeze of the glutes. Press the whole pelvis forward so you feel a nice opening through the back left hip flexor. Left arm is going to reach up. So we're going to side bend over to the right. And then maintaining this side bend, let's just spiral. Rotate, chest slightly towards the floor. Inhale back into that side bend. 3 more times. One more time. Come out of that side bend, hands to the mat. And we're going to step back into a plank, hips lift up into our downward facing dog. And now it's the left leg that's going to lift up. Keeping the leg straight first, just open up through the hips. Bend your left knee, heel towards the bum. Straighten out the leg, square off through the hips. Twice more. Roll it open. Bend that knee. Straighten out, square the hips. Last time. Bend, straighten, square the hips, and we're going to come into our pigeon. So as you shift forward, left knee behind the left wrist, left ankle behind the right wrist. You might need to scoot that foot back behind you. You're going to come to rest your forehead on your forearms. If you'd rather take a figure four stretch on your back, do that. Notice where you're holding tension in this shape. I always hold it in my stomach. Just try to breathe into that area and relax. So for me, I'm trying to relax through my belly. Now, we're going to transition out of this, if it works for your body, by just rolling to that outer left hip and coming upright to a seated position, almost in like a half straddle, with our right leg out straight and the left foot bent in towards that right thigh. So when you're ready, start to walk your hands in. You're going to roll to that outer hip and you're going to come into a straddle position. I'll flip around so I'm facing you. So again, mirror me. Your right leg is out straight, your left foot is in. Now we're going to start in a side bend. So you're going to take that right foot or that right hand towards the right foot, other arm sweeps up and over. Breathe into that side body. And then we're just going to switch it a little bit by rotating our chest towards that leg. Both hands come to the foot now. Maybe you're grabbing the toes, maybe just the shins. Do what works for you. In our final stretch, we'll just switch sides. Right knee bends, left leg extends out. Start by bringing the left hand to the foot, right arm sweeps up and over. And when you're ready, we're going to rotate towards that outstretched leg. Both hands to the foot or shin. Few deep breaths here. When you're ready, we're going to come to a comfortable seated position. 2 deep breaths together and then you are done. Inhaling, I want you to sweep those arms up overhead. Exhale, let it go. Last time. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, let it go. Awesome job.